to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dominic. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you very much. It's my birthday today.
And I'm Erica, by the way.
And that's Erica, yeah. Who just sang me happy birthday.
Yeah, we're recording this on Dominic's birthday.
Yeah.
You'll be listening to it the day after Dominic's birthday.
Yeah, March the 2nd, you'll be listening to it on someone else's birthday.
Yeah. Someone out there.
Someone
Maybe
out
yours.
There. Maybe yours. So happy birthday to you if it is your birthday on March the 2nd. Yeah, this is a royal update, isn't it? This is a royal update episode.
Just especially for your birthday.
Yeah, because they are. I'm part of the family.
Yeah. Oh,
I moved over
Don't
here.
I wish?
Don't you wish? Don't you wish you were sitting down with Oprah for an interview?
Oh, jeez, there's so much
Sunday.
to talk about, you guys.
There's quite a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regarding Harry and Meghan, Haz and Megs, as they call each other.
First of all, because we haven't mentioned it, but it was a couple weeks ago now.
Yeah, it's a couple of weeks ago since Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, the Queen's husband, was admitted to hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With an infection. They haven't really been too.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was an infection.
I didn't ever hear.
They didn't say exactly what it was. You know,
they just said, "Oh, he's feeling unwell."
He's feeling unwell. Just like not causing panic, and he walked into the hospital unaided. He's fine because he's 99 years old. He's almost 100, but he's really unwell. Yeah. Apparently,
yeah,
it's an infection. It's not COVID related, apparently, but we don't know.
I mean, I think they usually try to treat them not in the hospital if at all possible, don't they?
Yeah, they just treat them.
Doctors come to the house.
Come to the house. Well, they've got medical staff on standby at all these places.
See the house like it's our house. Doctors come by the house and see them.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth cooks, makes them a cup of tea.
She has someone to do that now, How
old is she?
I'm not sure, actually.
I want to say she's
He was born in 1922, so she was born in 1925, I think.
I was going to say, I want to say she's like 95.
95, yeah.
96,
96
maybe.
now, yeah. Because, it gets confusing because there's a Queen's official birthday and then there's her actual birthday or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know what it's all about. We'll have to do
some.
getting into all that protocol and tradition and all that. We've done it before, but we'll do it again for you. Mm. Yeah.
But, I mean, of course, because of everything going on, the first question is it coronavirus?
It's not COVID related, apparently, but we don't know. They haven't given any details. Charles went to visit him. Edward went to visit him. And, they say, he's doing a lot better, we're just, waiting for it. But apparently he was admitted to the King Edward VII Hospital on February 17th.
Is that in London?
Yeah, in London.
Yeah.
And he spent 14 days and 13 nights there. His longest stay in a hospital to date, and then he was transferred on Monday to St. Bart's, where they'll treat him for an infection as well as undertake testing and observation for a pre-existing heart condition. So, I mean, it's like he's 99.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, he's 99, but of course, they want to play it down like, oh yeah, he'll be home soon, it'll be all right,
Yeah.
Then, while this is going on, Haz and Megs are out in LA.
God.
Haz and Megs.
That's another podcast. Why in Britain do people...
It's not, actually. It's Meghan calls him Haz.
Oh, somebody out there has shortened the name Harry to Haz before, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, surely. Yeah. Old Haz. The Hazatron.
I don't know.
Hazarino.
That just makes me crazy. I'm not a nickname person in the first place, so
yeah.
Another podcast anyway.
But yeah, they've cast off royal duty. Everybody whoever's a royal watcher out there will know that.
Well, we've talked about it before.
Harry and Meghan, yeah, they've moved to LA now. Mm-hmm. They're living it up in LA in their mansion, as Piers Morgan likes to read.
When did they transition to LA? Because I thought
it was a year
originally
ago.
That they were, but I thought originally they were going to live in Canada.
They went to Canada first,
mm-hmm.
and then they just kind of like slipped into LA to California.
Yeah. They just crossed the border.
They just crossed the border, yeah.
On foot.
On foot. Meg's carrying the
We need
freaking
a
bags
wall.
and the baby.
We need a wall to keep these people out.
Yeah. They crossed the border. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna focus. They've done a deal
Keep
with
the
like
royals out
they've
of
done a deal with
America.
Disney Plus, haven't they? I think Megan's done a deal with Disney Plus, and she's now to like provide voiceovers for documentaries. No, it's not Disney Plus. It's Netflix, isn't it? Either they might have done a deal with Disney Plus and Netflix. I don't know.
What you're thinking of is she did.
They've got to pay for that mansion and security somehow.
She did a documentary for Disney Plus where she did a voiceover. It was like a nature documentary or about animals
something
yeah.
Like that. They're easing into like the celebrity, you know, the society, you know.
But I think
the cafe society, as they used to call it back in the day.
Wasn't there something like they want to create their own network, basically? Wasn't there?
They want to become Oprah.
Yeah, it was something like that, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, anyway, we need to back up.
They've got their own charity, Archwell, which promotes compassion and everything like that.
Let's back up for 1
Let's
second.
back it all up here. Let's get back to the beginning.
So you started out, which we talked about a year ago, saying that they decided to basically, what is the word? Rescind?
Yeah, step back
from
royal duties.
Life.
Yes.
That was a year ago. So they put them basically on like a probation for a year, right?
It was a probation. Well, yeah. They put themselves
a trial
on it.
period.
It was like one of those things where they were like stepping back from royal duties, and then it will be under review in 12 months.
Yeah.
To see whether, you know,
whether we actually want to do this or not.
And apparently they actually want to do this.
Yeah, so 12 months later, here we are.
They've said officially, they've told Buckingham Palace, because, you know, Buckingham Palace says, oh, okay, you know, you want to come back to the UK now and start and do royal duties and pick up and pretend like this never happened.
Yeah.
Nah. We're going to stay out here, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And we're going to do an interview on James Corden and Oprah Winfrey, and, you know, they've basically become what Edward and Wallace Simpson did when he abdicated.
Yeah.
Giving interviews and being on the elite, you know, the society elite and everything, you know, the cafe society in Paris and all that. They've basically put themselves into a self-imposed exile. And, you know, this interview that he did with James Corden, which Meghan briefly featured in via FaceTime.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys see the interview? Let us know if you watched the interview. Yeah. We didn't actually watch it live. We watched it on YouTube, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a 17-minute thing where he was on an open-top bus and they had tea. They had a high tea with tea and scones and stuff. And James Corden just, oh yes, taking you on the tour of the sites, and, you know, just basically being a funny bit and, like, you know, soft punch interviewing, you know.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, what...
It was
what,
a very
you know,
lighthearted.
It's lighthearted, which was like, you know, they did well there.
There was a funny moment where the bus had to slam on the brakes or something, and the camera...
The crew
there's a camera
and the trolley went everywhere, and Harry was almost, you know, covered in tea.
Yeah.
But he was covered in tea, wasn't he?
It was very much like, you know, you want to be a regular person. This is what happens to regular people.
Yeah, well,
you know?
I mean, that's it. You know, I mean, I think they've given back the titles, but they're still Duke and Duchess. Well, she's not Duchess anymore. I don't know what the actual official stance on it is.
Yeah.
Because he's still Prince Harry. He will be Prince Harry because he was born a prince. She is not Princess Meghan anymore. Yeah. She's just Megs now. Just call me Megs. And then the curtain opens, you know.
There's things out there that I've seen and have not read. Where apparently the Queen is really pissed off at them and stuff.
I think that's more to do with you know, that's because people are outraged in royal watchers are outraged and royalists outraged. How could he do this? And, you know, the royal family's an institution. He's got a duty to the British people too, you know. And, you know, he's come out now and he's tried to do a bit of damage control in the thing, saying, we're not stepping down. It's not as if we want to go into private society. We just are stepping back.
Oh, he said that, did he?
We're stepping back, not stepping down.
Well,
I'm still a public servant, he said. I'm still going to do what I was doing basically in the UK, but it's a bit changed.
Yeah.
Basically, I want to be a celebrity. I want it on my own terms,
Here's
as they say.
Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that, we're finally getting rid of the Kardashians after all these years.
Yeah.
They're going off the air. We're not going to have to hear about them. Psh, fingers crossed.
They split up.
And, are Harry and Meghan going to become the new Kardashians? Like, are they going to have a reality show?
No.
There was a rumor about that.
At the end, there was a rumor that I'm sure people have pitched it to them. And they've probably been like, we're going to give you so much money for this if we can film you going around LA.
Can you
and
imagine?
And I can imagine he'd spin it as like, what I'm doing and da-da-da.
Yeah,
and,
we
want
to highlight the work that we're doing by doing this reality show.
Yeah, but with that, and we're coming to America now and we're living in America. And, the reason he's given for moving away is because the British press were toxic.
Yes.
And
I love how he thinks there's no press, like nobody's going to bother him.
The British press are possibly one of the worst presses in the world for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like the Daily Mail, the Sun, the tabloids and everything. They do kind of like still have a hold over the nation.
Mm-hmm.
With that kind of gossip and they don't care. They'll get in your bins, they'll get everywhere, they'll be in your bed, and they'll be like, okay, hacking phones. It's like the media are pretty terrible over there, and they think, well, American media, they'll just love us because I'm British and I'm a prince,
right?
And Meghan's this commoner who's just come,
she's a
we can do it,
actress.
Hollywood actress, whatever.
We just
and
love
then it's
them
just
over here.
And it's just, American media will be more like polite with us, and it's like if they do try to get nasty, they'll apologize for it. So I'm sorry that we have to print this negativity about you, but it's all in good fun. But in Britain, it's just like, nah, get out of it.
But what makes them think that the British tabloids don't have the money to send?
They do.
One person from each
but
tabloid
they don't have to deal with it in the UK.
To go live in LA, to follow them around.
Well, they do that.
Stuff.
Paparazzis do that.
They're still going to. I mean, there's no escaping it just because they've left the country. I don't really buy that as an excuse for leaving the country.
The thing is, it's like
stuff is still going to be written about them.
Yes, yes, of course it is. But what their kind of thing is like, we're moving away now. We don't have to read it in the papers. We don't have to hear about it.
But it's like they didn't have to read it in the first place, did they?
Well, I guess they did with the royal family. I have a feeling the royal family were just like,
called
them in and said, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this story that's coming out? And what's Meghan doing here? And why has Meghan disowned her dad? And what's going on there? And why haven't you done this? And da-da-da-da-da.
Because
the thing is, no, I've got to protect my wife because they're racists.
We saw this piece from Piers Morgan. What's the show?
Good Morning Britain.
Good Morning Britain, where he's talking about the same thing that we're talking about right now. And he is basically saying, and you guys, I agree with him. He's basically saying that they want to pick and choose the type of coverage that they get. So they're giving they're saying, oh, no, we don't want.
Just leave us alone.
Just leave us alone. Leave us
that's
alone.
What he's saying.
Oh, it's all so toxic, and we don't want all this coverage all the time. But then they're giving an interview to James Corden. They're giving an interview to Oprah
Winfrey.
It's like, so basically they're saying we don't want negative coverage. We only want positive coverage. And like Piers Morgan was saying, you can't. I mean, he didn't say that, but basically,
just go away.
You can't really choose. If you're going to be in the public eye, you can't choose whether
you can't choose to do this.
Well, whether you get negative or positive
I think
press.
More the thing was they're doing this at the time when his grandfather's in hospital.
Yeah,
and it's like insensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we found it incredibly hard. It's like, we're in the middle of a global pandemic.
Yeah.
And you're coming out saying we found it incredibly hard from your massive mansion. It's like Sam Smith did this too. He got, any celebrity who's got a load of money and comes out and goes, lockdown, what a load of crap. And it's like, oh, it must be so hard for you with all that money.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to them, they're not complaining about lockdown. They're complaining about things that went on, a year plus ago.
Yeah.
But once again, I agree that it is a bit tone deaf. It's like, do we really care about what you went through right now when everybody is around the world, not just in this country, not just in Britain, but around the world is going through much worse, really. People have lost jobs, people have lost family members. It's just like, we really feel sorry for a little prince and his Hollywood actress wife, you know what I mean? Like, it is terrible, and obviously his mother was hounded by the press, and ultimately...
Well, that's why he wanted to leave the UK. That's another element to it, is like, he saw what happened to his mother, and he doesn't want that to happen to Meghan, or him.
But then actually leave, actually fade into obscurity, do your charity work, quit giving interviews, period.
They can't do that, they need money, and doing deals with Netflix and stuff like that, it's like, it's gonna get them, people are still gonna be interested. It's not as if, like, he's gonna go and live in California and never talk to anyone again. And, if someone comes to him, he's not gonna be like, what do you think of what's happened in the family, this, it's like, he's Prince Harry, unfortunately, whether he wants to be or not. And, I think, they want to, like, live their life on their own terms, which is fine. Don't begrudge them that at all. I mean, the people going, oh, they've abandoned their country, oh, they're traitors, all this nonsense,
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like, he can choose to do that. It's 2021 now,
No, and I get it.
But it is insensitive to go on about, it's slightly insensitive to give an interview right now. And I think it might be because, like, people just forget this. Like, what, just wanting the coverage and It's like, you can't choose it, unfortunately, no matter how much you want to.
I mean, the thing is it's like the interview was probably filmed ages ago, long before Prince Philip was put in a hospital.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So it's like, you can't, maybe push it back, but it's just like, they didn't know he was going to go into hospital around this time that this interview was supposed to be coming out. But this pandemic now has been going on for over a year.
Yeah.
So unless they happen to have filmed this interview, over a year ago, which they didn't, because they didn't make the decision to step back from royal life, from, over a year ago.
I think it was filmed quite recently.
Yeah, it was.
It was filmed probably this year.
Because I think, because she's pregnant, isn't she?
Yeah.
And I think they talk about that in the interview. So yeah, it was definitely filmed probably just a few months ago,
I'd say it was filmed probably in January or something.
Yeah, probably, realistically.
New Year's Day, probably. 12 o'clock. In the gardens of their California mansion. The trailer for it is very, like movie-ish. Harry, Meghan, the interview, like typically, and it's just going to be edited to, to everything up here, because, it's like they've got to put in commercials and everything like that, wherever it's, I think it's probably going to air on the Oprah Winfrey's network, I'm imagining.
Sure.
Or it could air on CBS or wherever. I don't know where it's going to air over here, but yeah, there's going to be commercials and everything like that, so it's going to be a televisual event. Televisual feast for you, where Oprah will sit down with Meghan on her own and ask serious, and like all the clips in it are just Oprah asking questions like, did you feel like you were silenced over there? What happened? And it's not them talking. She doesn't speak. It just cuts to a reaction shot of Meghan just about to speak, and then, it's like very all teasing. And then it's them together, and I think, it's the shocking things are going to be, oh yes, our family didn't support us, and the press was terrible, and that's why we moved over here, and as Piers Morgan calls it, bleating on and complaining and whining about stuff. And it's like, if you don't want attention, don't say this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's going to be, it's sensationalist. And more to the point is, why does America care about this? You know?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I think it has to do with the fact that she is American. She's common in quotation marks, you know.
Well,
She's married a prince. She's half black.
If she'd married, like, the Prince of Denmark
Mm.
or something, no one would care.
No.
No one would absolutely care.
No.
Prince of Sweden, Denmark, you know, whatever. You know, if it was like of any other European country that still has a monarchy,
Yeah.
it would just be like, ooh, she's married.
The thing is the general
So,
American
the end,
public,
you know?
I don't think, even realizes that countries besides Britain have royal families. You know what I mean? That I think that they...
Well, France doesn't, anyway.
I mean, other countries...
Spain does.
There are some other countries. But I think we generally don't know that. You know, we only know Queen Elizabeth, and they're the only royal family that exists, and they're basically the equivalent of all the Disney, you know, movies that we've ever seen.
That's it.
Up.
It's Disney.
Yeah,
It's Disney.
It completely 100% is. That's the fascination, because she's an American girl who married a prince. It's like the ultimate freaking.
And we're looking
Disney
forward
story.
to her Megan's rendition of "Let It Go" on Sunday.
Jeez.
And turning everything to ice, which apparently she just rehearsed for with Texas a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, how much of this do we think is her? Can we talk about that? Or are we supposed to just tiptoe around that subject?
What, you think it's all Megan controlling everything, do you?
No, I mean as far as wanting to give these interviews.
I imagine she loves it. Oh, she loves giving an you know, like every girl, you know, like you used to say, like when I was in the shower, give my interview to Parkinson, or you know, Johnny Carson, Tonight, David Letterman,
Jay Leno,
yeah, you know, like
show, yeah.
In Britain it was staying, you know, the girls would be in the bath, or you know, just be talking. Like, yeah, so you know, I think what started. She was probably the same way.
Yeah.
So it's like I can have an interview with Oprah Winfrey.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my interview, you know, and I'm just like, yes. Well, Oprah, let me tell you about my life.
Yeah.
I was born in, you know.
And why, you know, you also have to go, why Oprah? Because Oprah's not even really doing interviews or on television
she's a
anymore.
personal friend of Meghan.
Oh, is that what they said? Okay.
Wonder how that happened.
Yeah, how did that happen? Because, you know, Meghan was not a celebrity over here. Like,
no, she was on Suits, but it's like it's very unlikely that Oprah would have known who she was.
The general American
unless, you know, they
population had no
point.
idea who she was, had never heard of her, had never seen her in anything. You know, so, I mean, all of that is where the kind of skepticism about her comes from. You know, because it's a little bit like, oh, was she like social climbing, you know, and is she doing these interviews because she's an actress? And people who are actors and actresses, you know, ultimately they want attention. So it's just like, yeah, it very much feels like this is orchestrated by her.
If you're looking at it
him.
from a skeptical point of view,
mm-hmm.
right? She went to Britain with Harry to live there, and you know she was going to be like, oh yes, and I'm going to have this wonderful life, and you know back home I'm going to be hailed as the queen, you know, as a princess in America and all this. It's like wonderful times, and you know it's like in Britain it's kind of like, oh, I'll be able to get on TV over here, I'll be able to like raise my profile and stuff now, that and the British press are like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're gonna attack you.
Yeah. Because
you're in the public eye. This is what we do with people over here. We've done it since time immemorial. Since Queen Boadicea, you know, Boadicea, chariot, you know, we torpedoed that.
The big controversy, though, was that Kate didn't receive the same sort of attacks. But I don't completely agree with that, because she and William dated for years before they got married.
And they probably did.
And Oh, I can remember seeing pictures of her at that fashion show where they met, and her being criticized for what she had on and stuff, because I think you could kind of see her chest.
But of course, with Meghan, you see what happened is, you know, like Piers Morgan said it, but and you'd have to like go back and verify all this, fact check. They both received very, very positive coverage from the media up until the wedding. When her dad came out and she disowned her dad, and her dad gave this interview saying, oh well, she's terrible or whatever. I can't remember what he said about her.
Sort of confirming what a lot of people
were suspecting.
Yeah.
And it's like they couldn't get a handle on it. They left him to like kind of like do his own press, which was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so she disowned him. He came out and said, oh well, she stopped talking to me now. We used to talk quite regularly, but now boom, nothing. As soon as she got with him, it was like, she cut me off.
Yeah.
And so I've got to get my story out here,
Yeah.
And it's like,
it was all just a bit tacky, and unfortunately it's like things like that do happen in families, but usually, it's not in the press usually.
It's not in the press usually, no.
That kind of stuff does go on in families. People can't pretend like that kind of stuff doesn't happen, but not everybody's marrying into a royal family and just has it exposed for the world to see.
Supposedly Harry hasn't even met him.
I think there was a different way that all of that could have definitely been handled, and so it just didn't look very great, I mean, you can't blame her really, though, because it's just like, I wouldn't probably be very happy with my dad if he was given a interview and, had been paid an exorbitant amount of money to like sort of air all of our dirty laundry, and was saying that he thought that I was doing this for like just... It's like, I think he basically said what I said, like social climbing kind of thing.
Social climbing, she's looking to be, America's princess, and basically.
Yeah.
Maybe that's in her plan. Maybe she's planning to like reinstate the royal family, or her version of it in America.
But I mean, if they're trying to discredit people who think these kinds of things about her / them, I think giving an interview to Oprah is not going to help anything, really.
Perhaps she's planning to say, Oprah, I'm taking your job. You're fired.
And
then Oprah just gets hauled off, and it's just like, I'm the new Oprah now.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, really. I mean, she just wants a bit of attention and fame or whatever. That's fine, so does everybody else who goes on TV and all that,
It's always these, and I'm sorry to call Harry a fringe royal, but he is a bit of a fringe royal at this point, It's always the fringe royals and not the ones that are in the direct line to the throne. Oh, I can't really say that. I'm contradicting myself I'm not contradicting myself. I'm thinking that I'm wrong.
The ones who don't have a prize.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to be on,
spectacles of themselves.
Yeah, like, Princess Margaret, she was one of them.
Right.
It's like, she was the younger sister, so it's like, she's not going to be queen.
But as
she
I said,
wanted
that
to be
Edward,
queen, but it's just like,
But as I said, that Edward comes to mind. It's like, well, he was in direct line to the throne. He made a spectacle of himself, so.
Edward, no.
Edward, wasn't
Andrew.
it? Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew? No.
Which one are you talking about?
The one who was meant to become king and gave up his throne.
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about.
That's Edward, right?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Edward VIII.
I don't know. I'm not British, am I? No, I mean Edward, the one who was, the cause of this family becoming
King
in
Edward.
line for the throne. Yeah,
because he was king for almost a year.
Yeah.
1936.
Wait, it was a whole year?
Yeah, I think he was. No, he wasn't. I don't know if he was. He wasn't coronated, but he was. After George died, George V, was it? I don't know. I'm getting confused here.
Yeah.
But anyway, after his father died, because he was Prince of Wales, he became king.
Yeah.
So he went about that, and he was just, for that whole year, he caused kind of like a constitutional crisis of like within the royal family,
Yeah.
and the received intelligence is that he was forced to abdicate. And they used this whole Wallis Simpson divorce divorcee thing. He wanted to marry her as like the cover for it, but really it was like, oh, he had Nazi sympathies and he was going to let Hitler in if Hitler wanted to invade Britain and all this nonsense.
But my point was the people like Queen Elizabeth, Prince Charles, although that was a bit of a spectacle too. Yeah, so I'm just talking crap basically. What I was going to say is they try their hardest to sort of keep as under the radar as possible for the most part. The ones who are in direct line.
Someone's always watching them. Someone's always ready with their pen and paper, or nowadays their phone to capture them going out for milk. Oh, he's buying the most expensive milk. Oh, and that's taxpayer money right there.
Oh, right.
And oh, look at him. He's using a car to get around. How dare he? Look
at him. He's got shoes on his feet. God.
He's got shoes on his feet that that are not pleather and whatever. It's like they're looking for a reason to attack them. They're looking for a reason to criticize, and it's like that is how it's going to be in the UK. And Meghan was just no.
Yeah.
It's like, everything I do now is criticized, and I can't take this. Come back to America where they're going to adore me because I married a prince.
Yeah.
And it is largely that over here. They do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be people talking about her and going, oh, Meghan, what the hell,
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not nearly as bad as it is in the UK.
But the further they are away from it, the more they're just going to be like... The less interesting they're going to be even over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The more time that passes and, we're not seeing them encrusted in their jewels and going to functions and everything, which, I mean, that kind of stuff hasn't been happening now for a year anyway. But, it's just all going to lose its luster. I don't know.
It's going to lose its luster unless they start doing really wacky things.
Oh, jeez.
Like having their own, like, reality show. And where people want to see them yelling at each other about
my
stuff.
God, can you imagine?
Like Meghan smashing through windows and all this kind of stuff, and Harry going, oh, that's it whatever. It's over, Megs. As a Megs is no more.
Oh.
And then it's just, that classic reality TV show sound they use over here, and you know what it is. That
what?
You've heard it. It's like when something bad's happened, they use it on every reality show over here. It's like a noise,
like a car skidding.
It's not a car skidding. It's like a you know what it is. I've heard it on everyone. It's just the dramatic scenes.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I think we've had enough of that.
Harry going through the mansion with an axe, bloodied.
Oh no.
Here's Hazzy.
Oh my God.
But yes.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun ride with these two.
Let us know if you're planning on watching the Oprah interview. I think maybe we'll try to watch it.
We'll try to watch it. We'll give our thoughts on it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see
next Sunday.
What it's going to be all about.
This Sunday.
Or are they just going to be rehashing stuff? They make it sound like, ooh, this is going to be a tell-all. This is going to be like they're going to dish some dirt, but I have a feeling they're not going to dish that much dirt. Because...
No, they're just going to rehash the old things just to keep people and just say, it was all the British press's fault. Toxic bastards, a lot of them.
Yeah. You don't think there's going to be anything negative about the royal family?
No, he knows better than to say, if she goes, and there's rumors of a feud between you and William, and William is future king or whatever, no, we're on different, because he said we're on different paths. Mm-hmm. So that's what stoked the rumors,
Yeah.
And Kate and Meghan don't like each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of ridiculous, really, because they probably do, Yeah. Yeah. We'll look for the bathroom axe smashing bit in a future episode.
Oh my God.
Of the Haz and Meg show.
Thank you guys so much as always for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Be sure to check us out on social media. We are at Butty, Butty,
Give us a follow.
On Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.